The theater was quiet long before the lights dimmed. It was the kind of quiet that felt soft, like a blanket laid gently over the room. People shifted in their seats, whispered to one another, and waited. The stage stood open and wide, glowing faintly under pale blue lights. At the judges' table, Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, eyes calm but tired from a long day of auditions. He had seen hundreds of performers already. Singers, dancers, dreamers. Some were good, some were forgettable, very few were surprising. Backstage, a small boy stood near the curtain, holding a microphone with both hands. His name was Daniel Reyes. He was 11 years old, thin, with neatly combed black hair and shoes that looked slightly too big for his feet. His hands were cold. His heart beat fast, but his face was calm. His mother, Maria Reyes, knelt in front of him and fixed the collar of his shirt. She smiled, but her eyes were wet. "Remember," she said softly, "just sing the way you do at home." Daniel nodded. At home, he sang all the time. He sang while washing dishes, while doing homework, while walking to school. Music filled their small apartment in Los Angeles, especially old songs his mother loved. Michael Jackson was his favorite. Daniel did not fully understand the world Michael Jackson came from, but he understood the feeling. The loneliness, the hope, the joy hidden inside the sadness. A stage assistant waved from the side. It was time. Daniel took a deep breath and stepped forward. As he walked onto the stage, the lights grew brighter. The audience clapped politely when they saw him. He looked so small standing there alone, framed by the wide stage and the glowing screens behind him. Simon Cowell raised his eyebrows slightly and leaned forward. "What's your name?" Simon asked. "Daniel Reyes," the boy said. His voice was soft but clear. "And how old are you, Daniel?" 11, sir." "Where are you from?" "I'm from Los Angeles, but my family is Filipino." Simon nodded. "And what will you be singing for us today?" Daniel hesitated for just a moment. He swallowed. "I will sing a Michael Jackson song." A few people in the audience murmured. Simon tilted his head. He had heard many Michael Jackson covers. Too many. Most of them tried too hard. Most of them failed. "All right," Simon said slowly. "Whenever you're ready." The music did not start right away. Daniel stood still, holding the microphone close to his chest. He closed his eyes. In that small pause, he thought about his father, who worked late nights driving a delivery truck. He thought about his mother cleaning houses during the day. He thought about singing in their living room while the neighbors complained about the noise. He thought about the nights when music was the only thing that made everything feel lighter. Then the first notes played. It was a slow Michael Jackson song. One that did not begin with a big beat, but with space. Daniel opened his eyes and sang the first line quietly. His voice was gentle, almost fragile. It floated out into the room, not pushing, not forcing itself to be heard. The audience grew still. Simon's posture changed. He leaned forward more, his arms uncrossing without him realizing it. The sound coming from the stage did not match the boy standing there. There was pain in that voice. There was control. There was honesty. Daniel sang as if he were telling a secret. Each word came slowly, carefully, like he was placing it down and making sure it stayed. He did not move much. He did not dance. He did not try to copy Michael Jackson's famous moves. He simply stood there and sang. Halfway through the song, his voice grew stronger. Not louder, but deeper. It filled the space in a way that felt warm and heavy at the same time. Some people in the audience wiped their eyes. Others leaned forward, afraid to miss even a single note. Backstage, Maria pressed her hand against her mouth. She had heard Daniel sing this song 100 times, but never like this. Never with this much weight. Simon Cowell's face softened. His eyes narrowed slightly, not in doubt, but in focus. He had expected a trick. A cute kid doing an impression. What he was hearing instead was something real. As the song reached its quiet ending, Daniel let the final note fade naturally. He did not rush it. He let the silence come back. For a moment, no one moved. Then the room exploded with applause. People stood up. Some clapped above their heads. Some shouted. The sound rolled over Daniel like a wave. He blinked, surprised, and smiled shyly. His shoulders relaxed for the first time. Simon stood up too. He waited for the noise to settle before speaking. "Daniel," he said slowly, "I have heard that song many times. I did not expect to hear it sung like that today." Daniel listened, his hands shaking just a little. "You didn't try to be Michael Jackson," Simon continued. "You were yourself. And that is why it worked." Daniel nodded. He felt a lump in his throat. Simon paused, then smiled, something he did not do often. "I'm honestly surprised," he said. "And that doesn't happen very often anymore." The other judges praised Daniel as well. They spoke about his emotion, his control, his maturity. Daniel answered politely, thanking them each time. When the votes came, they were all yeses. Daniel walked off the stage feeling light, like he might float. Backstage, his mother hugged him tightly. For a moment, neither of them spoke. That night, after the show, they took the bus home. Daniel rested his head against the window and watched the city lights pass by. His mother held his hand. "Did I do okay?" he asked quietly. She smiled through her tears. "You did more than okay." But life did not suddenly become easy after that audition. At school, some kids teased him. They said he was trying to be famous. Others asked him to sing during lunch. Teachers treated him differently. Daniel did not like the attention. He still had homework. He still helped his mother clean on weekends. His father still came home tired. Sometimes Daniel wondered if singing was worth the pressure. He loved music, but he did not love being judged. He did not love seeing his parents worry about money while people online argued about his voice. One evening, he sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his microphone. He did not feel like singing. His father, Luis Reyes, knocked gently and sat beside him. "You know," his father said, "when I was your age, I wanted to be a mechanic. I was scared too." Daniel looked up. "Scared of what?" "Of failing," Luis said. "Of trying and finding out I wasn't good enough." Daniel nodded. "What did you do?" "I tried anyway," his father said. "And even though life didn't turn out the way I planned, I don't regret trying." Daniel picked up the microphone. He did not sing that night. He just held it, but something inside him felt steadier. Weeks later, Daniel returned to the stage for the next round. This time, he felt the weight of expectations. People wanted another surprise, another moment. Backstage, he breathed slowly. He remembered why he sang in the first place. Not for applause, not for praise, but because it helped him understand his own feelings. When he stepped onto the stage again, Simon watched closely. Daniel sang a different Michael Jackson song. This one was brighter, but still full of emotion. His voice had grown, not just technically, but emotionally. He sang with more confidence, but also with care. When he finished, the applause was strong again. Simon nodded, satisfied. After the show, Simon spoke to Daniel privately for a moment. "Don't rush," Simon said. "Protect your voice. Protect who you are." Daniel remembered those words for a long time. Years passed. Daniel grew taller. His voice changed, but he learned how to use it. He studied music seriously. He worked hard. There were setbacks. There were auditions he did not pass. Songs that did not work. Nights when he doubted himself. But he kept singing. One evening, many years later, Daniel stood on a different stage. He was no longer a child. His parents sat in the audience, holding hands. The lights were warm. The room was full. Daniel stepped up to the microphone and took a breath. He thought about that first audition. About the boy he used to be. About how far he had come. He sang, not to impress, not to surprise, but to tell his story. And somewhere, watching from the crowd or from a screen, Simon Cowell smiled quietly, knowing he had witnessed the beginning of something real.